Okay everyone, so welcome back to lecture once again. Now in this lecture guys, I'm going to discuss about checking, splitting and adding some sort of a meta information into a existing data set. Now in my previous lecture, I talked about basically how we can load a data. And if I'll talk about a LangChain, so obviously LangChain provides you a huge set of functions or huge set of the library by which you will be able to load a data from anywhere. Now, so in this example, let's talk about a checking, that how we can try to break down those data and then how we can try to prepare those data for a embeddings or for a next processing, so that I will be able to build a RAG application, because these things are pretty much important in terms of building any kind of a RAG application at the end of the day. So let me share my screen and let's start doing a coding. So here I will be using this sample.txt file, and here so I have copy and pasted terms and condition of a Euron. So let me close this part, and we are going to use a same installation that we have done in my previous class as well. Now, first of all, try to load this data loader, a text loader. So I have to read a text file. So I'm just going to call a text loader. Simple. I have already used it even in my previous lecture. Now, so here once I'm going to call my text loader, so I can try to provide my sample.txt file so that it will be able to load it. So dot load, and it will be able to load this entire document. Yeah, it will be able to load the entire document. Now let's try to store this entire things in a variable called as documents documents. Yeah, so inside this document I have this entire data set, right? Entire data set, all of my data set is available inside this one, and I will be using this particular document itself. Now the very first thing is that let's try to split a data. So see guys, once I'm able to load a data, now all of this data set is available here as a page content. I can even try to extract just all the page content. That is also possible. So here I can try to write maybe a document of 0 and then dot page content, and I will be able to see just a page content. So whatever content is available, it is going to give it to me. Now this content is very huge, and again in between, so you will be able to find out a lot of different kind of syntaxes like /n or maybe a comma, maybe exclamation marks, a lot of things, right? As a part of this document, you all will be able to find out. Now, so how I will be able to break this data and how I will be able to convert this data into a small pieces in a small chunks. So this is where this splitting of the data comes into a picture. So let's try to understand that how I will be able to split a data, right? How I will be able to split a data. So the very first things which I would like to show you is a recursive character text split over here, right? Now I'll try to show you that how it is going to work, and then how it is going to split a data, plus how we are trying to create even a overlap between the data set. Let me show you that. So here I can try to import maybe from LangChain dot text splitter. So import what? So import basically recursive character text splitter. So this is something which I'm going to import it. And then once this import is done, recursive character text splitter, so I can try to set a parameter over here. So parameter is what? Chunk size, means like whenever I'm trying to split the data, so what should be the size of the one single chunk? And then I'm going to give over here that chunk overlap. I'll talk about this, don't worry. I'll even show you the examples over here. So let me keep this chunk size as small so that we can count and we will be able to observe it very clearly. So this is a recursive character text splitter, and let's suppose I'm going to create a variable splitter, splitter splitter variable, and I'm going to store this one into this splitter variable, and I'm going to call a splitter dot split document, and as I have a document over here, and just try to pass this document that you have already loaded. Yeah, now execute it. Now this is the information that you all will be able to get. This is the information that we all are able to get over here. Now, so as you can see that I have given chunk size is equals to 30. Yeah, I have given what? I have given chunk size is equals to 30 over here. Now you will be able to find out that approximately it is trying to hold that much information inside one single chunk. Yeah, one single chunk. So this is one chunk, this is one chunk, this is one chunk, this is another chunk. Now here I have given a chunk overlap is equals to 5. Yeah, I have given chunk overlap is equals to 5. Now, so my expectation was that it is going to create a overlap. Overlap means what? So let's suppose I have given chunk overlap is equal to 5. So 5 character from here should be available in a beginning, so that there will be an overlap between these two sentences. But doesn't looks like everywhere that there is a overlap. Yeah, in some of the places you will be able to see the overlap, or over here and or over here, right? Off over here and off over here. So in some of the places you will be able to see the overlap, and in some of the places you will not be able to. For example, here we are able to see the overlap. Maybe I can try to make overlap is equals to 10 and then show you. So in some of the places you will be able to find out an overlap, and in some of the places you will not be able to find out the overlap. Now, how and why this is not showing you the overlap everywhere? The reason is very simple. See guys, so this function is not doing much. This function is just trying to break your content, right? This is just trying to break your content. So whatever content, whatever document or whatever data that you have, now I can show you this document, right? Terms and condition, and like there is a new line over here. So terms and condition, there is a new line, and then these terms of use, and then this is something that we are able to find out. Yeah, this is something that we are able to find out. And then constitute of enforceable content. And enforceable content. So here you will be able to find out line break, or you will be able to find out spaces. You will be able to find out maybe without a space over here. And based on each and everything, it is trying to break the entire data set. So here, whenever we are going to call a recursive character text splitter, it always try to break a data based on, this one. Always remember, it will try to break a data based on this one. Let me convert this into a markdown. Yeah. So there's a markdown. So it will always try to show you a data in this particular order, or like it will always try to split a data by using a double slash, like a slash n. So one single slash n means new line. So double new line, or maybe a new line, maybe a space, or maybe without a space. So this is something that it is trying to consider, and by doing that, it is trying to split your data set. So wherever it will observe either of this, right? Wherever it is going to observe either of this, it will be able to split the data. Now we can try to hover our mouse over here, and we can try to see a parameter called as separator parameter, right? We can try to like even give a parameter over here. So we can try to maybe create a separator, and we can say that unless and until you are not able to see this one, so don't try to split the data. Now if I'll show you the result, so result will be a little bit different over here. So if I'm going to give separator is equals to this one. So these terms of use and terms, and then there is a clear, right? There is a clear overlap I'm able to find out. There is a clear overlap everywhere. You will be able to find out in between these two data set. Yeah, these two data set. So here I have strictly mentioned that try to use only this separator, but by default it will be using all of this separator all together to perform this particular operation, and that is the reason. So it was splitting wherever it was able to find out that one. Now, so this is what a recursive character text splitter does. Now what is next, by the way? So next is, let me delete this part. Yeah, it's done. Now, so there is something called as fixed character splitter. So how this is going to work, let me show you that part as well. So first of all, import. So from a text splitter, character text splitter, I'm going to import. Now, so what I can do is I can try to call a character text splitter, and then here, so I can set the parameter. So maybe I can try to like say that separator is like this one. So wherever you are able to find out the single space, separate the data, and then chunk size is equals to, let's suppose I'm going to define maybe 50, and then here chunk overlap I'm going to define is equals to 10. So fine, this is again another splitter I'm able to create. So character underscore sp char splitter I'm able to create. Now I can try to call my char splitter, and then I can try to basically pass a data. So split documents, and then here I can try to pass my documents over here. So here again, you will be able to find out that it is trying to split the data. It is trying to split the data. Now, so here what it will do, so it will try to split a data with the help of fixed number of the characters. Yeah, fixed number of the character it is trying to consider. So everywhere you will be able to find out that there is a 50 character it is trying to take, and then based on that it is trying to split the data, and there is a overlap of 10 character it is trying to maintain each and every time. Yeah, overlap of 10. So basically, and here we have mentioned that always try to perform this split operation by a space. So splitter wise I have given this one. So this is again another splitter that you will be able to find out. Now there is another splitter you will be able to find out called as token text splitter. So now let's try to understand how token text splitter works. So here just I import token text splitter, format text splitter, and then here, so token text splitter, and you can try to like set maybe a chunk size, chunk, chunk, size, so size, chunk size, and chunk size, let's suppose I'm going to keep 50, and then chunk overlap, chunk underscore overlap, overlap. So chunk overlap is equal to maybe a 10 I'm going to give. Yeah. And I believe we all understand what is the meaning of chunk size now, and then what is the meaning of a chunk overlap. Now what this token text splitter will do, let me show you that part. Token splitter, token splitter. Now, so I'm going to call my token splitter dot split documents, and I'm going to pass my original documents. So documents I'm going to pass over here. Now what a token text splitter does is that it will try to consider one single, not the whole word I would say. So it will try to consider approximately 0.75 word, means like a 2/3 of the word as a one single token. And based on that, it will try to split the entire data set. Plus it will try to even maintain the overlap. So let me reduce the size. So let me keep it 10, and let me keep an overlap of basically 2 in case of a tokens. And then let me show you the final example. Yeah. So here I'm trying to keep chunk size is equals to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So approximately, right? Like I told you that here in case of a token, 0.75, 2/3 of the word is considered as a one single token. This is how like calculation happens for this one. And here, so you will be able to find out obviously, right? You will be able to find out obviously that there is a overlap, right? So we are trying to like keep a chunk overlap is equal to 2. So here with the help of even like a chunk overlap and a token text splitter, I'm able to split the data, and I'm able to see the overlap in between the data set. Now, so there are other splitter which is also available, by the way. So there is something called as character text splitter that you will be able to find out. So I think character text splitter we have already discussed. Yeah. So we have already discussed character text splitter over here. Now, so yeah, so we have already discussed about the character text splitter, and we have already talked about even a token text splitter. So now let's try to understand something. So we had a document, right? We had a document. Now let's suppose if I have to basically add some sort of information inside this document, means some sort of a meta information if I have to insert inside this document. So how I will be able to do that? As you can see that this is like a list inside the list. So we have this document. So at document 0, so at document 0 at this place, so we have this one. And if I'm going to check what is the type of this, so what is a type of this one? So basically it's a LangChain document that it is talking about, that is trying to tell me. Yeah. Now, so here, so if I have to add maybe a meta information, so let's suppose I'm going to call document documents.metastore. Yeah, so inside this document, if I have to append something, so let's suppose documents, and then append. Maybe I would like to append some more information over here. So append what? So maybe I would like to append this information that creator, right? Creator, and then I can try to mention over here as Dhanshu. Fine. Now, if I'm going to check the document, so inside this document, you will be able to find out one more information. Simple, right? One more information you will be able to find out, which is been appended over here. Okay, so it's been appended over here. Now, let's suppose, and this is the separate data which we are trying to append in this particular place. Now, let's suppose I would like to append something in this metadata, right? I would like to maybe like change this metadata. Maybe I would like to add this information into this meta information. So how I can do that? Very simple. So I can try to parse this entire document. So document and then at 0. So this is the information, and then I can write maybe a metadata. So I will be able to get this information. Now, if you are going to check that what is a type of this information. So obviously it is going to tell you the dictionary. Yeah. So this is basically trying to represent the dictionary. Simple, right? So we know from our Pythonic class that if there is a dictionary and if I have to maybe change something, so if I have to maybe add even this one inside a meta information itself, how I can do that? Simple. So here I can try to write down that is equal to, right? This metadata is equal to this information is already available. So keep this information, and along with this, try to add one more key value pair. So I'm just trying to refresh this entire information and adding this one. Now, if I'm going to show you the document metadata, so obviously you will be able to find out this new information as well. So in this way, I can try to parse any number of a document one by one, because whatever document that I will be able to get, it will be a part of the list. Now, if something is a part of the list, let's suppose if I have to add some more meta information, right? I wanted to add some more meta information. Maybe this meta information is not sufficient for me, or I feel like I have to add something. I can just try to iterate through this entire document one by one, and then start calling this particular operation. So start calling this metadata information, and it will be able to basically append each and everything. So just by writing a simple Pythonic function, you all will be able to do it. As simple as that. Now, so let's come to the point, and I would like to discuss something with all of you. So here, yeah, not this one. Yeah. So I would like to discuss this with all of you, that when you are trying to perform a different kind of operation, then what should be the ideal chunk size that you are supposed to create? So in general, so whenever you are trying to build some sort of operation with respect to an RAG search, so in general, this should be your chunk size. So this 300 to 512 token you are supposed to consider. Whenever you are trying to do a summarization task, so again, your chunk size or your token, number of token that you are going to consider should be in between this one. And again, we know that number of token is approximately 0.75 words in general. That's a whole definition. Now, whenever you're trying to build some sort of a document-based Q&A system, so in that case, you have to keep a chunk size equal to 500 to 1000. And whenever you are trying to perform some sort of a classification operation, so at that point of a time, you should keep a chunk size is equal to 100 to 300. So not to remember, not to hard and fast things, but yeah, it's always good to know about this entire things. Yeah, this entire things. So that you all will be able to perform this kind of operations on your own. So hope this is making sense, and hope all of you will be able to split the data. You all will be able to convert a data into a small chunk, and then you all will be able to even add a meta information with respect to the document. With that, thank you so much everyone. Take care, and see you again in my next lecture.